Hi everyone. Hey. Let's have a little look. Hey everyone. Nice to see you. Red Rose Lad, hey from Liverpool, hi. Hey Phoebes. Lady of the Light. I'm lighting it. Hey, hi everyone. Thanks so much, Phoebes. I was meaning to come live at 7 and I was like fully ready for it, committed to show up at 7, and then I was having technical issues, so you know what that means, guys. It means we've got a lot of truth to share today, a lot of good wisdom to share today. So hey everyone, welcome in. Delightful to see you all. Les, you caught alive again, yes. So I didn't really have a plan of what I was gonna talk about on this live, but it is a special day tomorrow, and do you guys know why? Comment in the chat if you know why it's a special day tomorrow. Let me know. Hey, no worries about the heart symbol. It's interesting when you start to see things, like when you start to understand colours and how they resonate with different things and the chakras and the energy bodies and how everything's intertwined and how everything interrelates to each other. Then you start to see so much in the world, and you'll know if you watch my videos, I talk about our spells and how a lot of the English language, a lot of perhaps all language has been perverted. It's been kind of like flipped backwards, where we say stuff now that we don't even mean. Like as a something that we say in the UK is people go, oh, that's so sick, and what they mean is like, that's awesome, or they might say that's wicked. Again, what they mean is that's wonderful. But what they're saying is that's wicked, that's sick. Well, that's the spell that they're putting on it, and so it's not actually saying what you mean. And I think it's so important. Hi everyone. So important to just say what you mean and to be so precise, because everything we say casts a spell. Our words cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. You guys being here, you'll already know all of this anyway. So you have to just be really, you don't have to be, but you can be really precise with your word, because otherwise it's possible you just manifest in a life around you that you don't really wish for or want. So many of us feel stuck in life and in our light and in our spiritual awakening and everything else that goes with it, and the situation isn't really what ideally we'd like it to be, or what ideally we'd like it to be. And this can be because maybe our energy is contaminated with these negative words we keep saying and not even realizing we're saying it. As we say a word, it comes out. It's like an energy, a waveform that comes out of your mouth, out of your throat chakra, and even your thoughts. All energy comes out as like an entity almost, and it's like a wave in motion. Thoughts and words, they can be like spells, like conscious spirits, like energetic snakes almost. So you say things that you don't mean, like, oh, that's so wicked, that's so sick. These spirits and they kind of they're in your field, or they go and manifest in the world, in the field around you, and they contaminate you with this negative energy, and then you don't even realize why you're attracting things that aren't aligned with what you actually wish and will for, because we're casting these spells and don't even realize. The same with when we are bitching about people, or talking negatively, or thinking negatively about people or ourselves. We are literally casting those spells. We're casting those spirits out into the cosmos. So then, do you want to be serving the light or the night? That's the question. Because anytime you think negatively, you react negatively emotionally, or say anything negative, whether it's about yourself or anyone else, you're serving the night, because the word serve is an anagram of the word verse. And so to verse, it's like to say, it's like a song, isn't it? The universe is one song, a uni, one, a united or united. Verse is the song. So to verse something and to serve something is kind of the same thing. It's like radiating the frequency or the energy of what it is. So let's just see what you guys saying. Cancel and delete. Yeah, so if you want to cancel and delete negative spells or thoughts that you've cast into the cosmos, you can literally just say, I take it back and I cancel and delete it instantly. And if you say instantly, it's really important, because instantly basically means now and it's done, rather than just saying, I take it back and delete it when. So you might say, yeah, I take it back and delete it, but does that affirm that it's happened right now, or could be that in a week's time that happens? So if you say instantly, it manifests it instantly. Also, I seen you guys commented, it's the summer solstice tomorrow. So that is just great, isn't it? It's a very, very important ray for energy and for the ascension and for the awakening. It always is. Anytime there's a solstice, it's really important. And I'll go into that shortly. But just to check the comments, I saw Marsha had asked, genuine question, doesn't the intention of a word mean more than the words itself? So that's such a good question. So, because every word has its own energy and its own frequency, and that can be determined either by, it's actually just determined by the meaning that everyone has put on that word. So collectively as a consciousness, we all basically energize certain words in certain ways. So if the collective, if you just said the word sick on its own, the collective would probably think or vision like energy that's on that word. That's the energy that's on that word. So then if you go, oh, that's so sick, even though you've got a positive intention, so you've put out good energy, but the word itself has a bad energy, so it negates the positive. They cancel each other out, and then there's no energy there. So it does kind of work that way. But rather than saying that's so sick and then you don't give them any positivity, you could go, that's wonderful, that's so lightful, and then not only have you got your own positive energy that you're putting out there, but the word is positively charged, and then it's double positivity that you're sending to that person. Because the only reason, thanks thoughts for the rose, the only reason you would tell someone that something's so wonderful is because you want them to know. So you want to give them that good energy in the first place, so you don't want to just cancel it out by saying a word that you don't actually mean. Thanks so much, friends, for the roses and the gifts, the things that you're sending. I was just struggling to kind of keep up with it all, but I appreciate every single one and everyone writing comments and stuff. So Shazgasm said, how does that fall with different languages? It could be bad in one language and good in another. Yeah, it could be. So it really depends on, like, basically the amount of people that's conditioned that one word, and it's like the majority wins. That the majority's energy on that word basically makes that word have that particular energy or spell. In different languages, sometimes people will say, when I say anagrams and stuff, so I'll say the word verse and serve is the same, like I was just telling you, because it's got the same letters and it's an anagram, so it's got the same energy. And then people say, well, what about French words? Then you can't just pretend, different languages, that word doesn't mean the same, so it doesn't make sense or it doesn't work. It is different in different languages. However, there'll always be words in different languages, and when you open your mind to start seeing them, if you speak a different language, and you start to open your mind and look at two words that are the same, or at least that sound the same, and see if there's any correlation to them, because most of the time you'll find they're either the same or they're the opposite of each other. And it's really interesting when you start to see it. So it's not going to be the same in other languages as it is in English, but it's not. These are just kind of like markers that the Creator has given us to be able to explore and see, and be kind of to recognize the energy signatures that's going on things and around the world. So it's not like set in stone rules, but they're kind of little guides that God or the creator of this cosmos has put there so that we can like notice them and go, hey, actually now that I recognize these words are the same, I can actually see how they've got this correlation energetically, and it makes so much more sense, and you get to kind of figure out the matrix, or at least figure out the realm. When two words sound the same, they cast the same spell, because when you say them, if you just close your eyes and listen, they sound the same. So it's the exact same sound frequency airwave that goes out, apart from the conditioning of the word. However, most of the time it is casting the same spell, because who's to tell? Say if there's two words that sound the same, how do you know which one it is that you use, because they sound the same? So what they've done, like they being the people who've tried to manipulate life to keep us trapped in the matrix. Thanks so much for that cute little cat. Tofu, that is so cute. The people who've controlling like the education system and lying about history and lying about science and all that, those people who have also had a lot of manipulation on language as well, and they've changed the spelling of things so that you don't realise it's casting the same spell. So like when people say good morning or hello, well, you're saying hello, you're being as low as hell. And also when you're saying good morning, to mourn is to cry, it's to be sad. So hello and good morning, they're negative spells to cast upon someone. And people will say, no, because it's spelt differently, you dude. And I'll say, yes, it's spelt differently, but it sounds similar, or even sounds the same. And then when it does, because most people see those words as they are, it puts that energy out there. You just don't want to, you don't really want to like just even be saying them for fun. If you're not sure, just change it to something else. We can have such a more lightful language. And when you do change your language, you actually feel it inside. Now that I've replaced certain words with others, I genuinely feel so much more lightful, because I'm not filling my aura with any of these potentially negatively charged words. Ingrid, hey! I love the little green hat. Malcolm X says, no one says hello in 2024. If you come to the UK, everywhere you go, if you're walking your dog to the park or you're walking around, people always go, hello. It's a popular thing. So Blisky has said that you think in Polish, so it's difficult. Well, just think about Polish words then. If you're speaking in Polish or thinking in Polish, take note of words that sound the same and then go from there and be like, hang on a minute, am I saying a positive word here? Just be aware of the phrases that you use. I see a lot of people on TikTok say, and then they'll say dead. They'll say, I'm dead, meaning like they're laughing at something, they're finding that funny, and it's like, what spell are you casting upon yourself when you say stuff like that? So become aware of these phrases we use that's meant to be cool, and question whether, like, why do we use those phrases? Who came up with them? And I get it, because when we have these common phrases, sometimes it's funny and you say it in a moment, and it makes you kind of come together and you feel like connected with people because they're using this phrase that's kind of popular and it's a funny phrase and you're seeing it around, and so it makes you laugh and it connects you. However, I think that like I'm very, very dedicated in this light to get this job done. So a lot of us here are here on this earth plane at this time to basically bring the awakening and manifest a better place than this on this plane. So I like to have fun, but my life is very dedicated to just getting that job done, and that means that if I'm going to have to be the one to stop saying I'm dead and try and make a new term better and cool, which could just be, wow, like, I'm so lightful, or something like that, that's so lightful kind of thing, then I'm happy to try and start that trend, because the more we can bring in these positive energies, then the quicker I can just go out. I shouldn't have said that. But it's true, the quicker that we can just be like, okay, the world is looking good. Everyone's happy, everyone's feeling good, no one's manifesting stuff without even realising, no one's casting black magic without even realising. And then we can just have a delightful time, really. I feel like let's just get the work done. Let's get the shadow work done. Let's get the healing done. Let's start manifesting. Let's take light seriously just for a sec so that we can get over this hurdle of like the awakening, and then let's just have a really delightful time. But at least then no one's suffering, because at the minute people are suffering, so it's easy sometimes to just want to escape into just having fun. But that's not what I'm here for, is to just have fun while other people suffer. And it's not that you can't have fun because other people are suffering. You can't live your life like that. But I will always try my best to do and be my best as much as I possibly can in this life where I am, in this place on this earth. You can't do everything. You can't exactly change the world on your own, but you can definitely do your part. And I think that's what I'm trying to say, is I'll always be trying to do my part, always. And some people might just feel like my posts or my pages are just a bit too, like, someone commented on one of my Instagram videos. It was about the heart thing that I shared, where I said that the heart is inverted, and someone had said like, if you carry on like this, you're going to be like rocking back and forth in a tinfoil hat, and you're going to just never want to leave the house again, because it's just so much that you would have to kind of like change in life to account for all the stuff that's kind of not lightful in the world. Katie, thanks so much for the rose, and thanks everyone for the gifts. If I miss them, I'm so sorry, but I really appreciate them all. Yeah, so someone was like, oh, you're going to be rocking in a tinfoil hat, it's too much to have to change. And I agree that if you just were new to the awakening and you came across my video and I'm telling you, stop saying hello, stop saying good morning, or you're going to manifest a bad earth, then I would also be like, whoa, that's enough, thanks. Let's just take it one step at a time. So I get that, but because I'm like always trying to refine my language, refine my thoughts, refine my energy, I'm always trying to be my highest and best. That's just something in me. I just can't stop trying to refine myself, and so it might just feel like a bit out there and you don't have to do it all, but I'm just kind of giving, I'm showing you what my journey is, and then you can take the stuff that you like and you can leave the stuff you don't like, because we're all doing our own journeys. We've all got like our own paths. No one's got the same path, and I don't know if anyone really has the exact same views on everything, but we're just here to share each other's and help each other and guide each other and teach each other and learn from each other. So KK said abracadabra means so I speak, so I create. Yeah, so abracadabra actually comes from abracadabra. So it's not abra, it's abracadabra, and it means as I speak, I create. So that's quite a nice way of actually starting your spells, because when you say abracadabra, I bring light onto this plane. Abracadabra, I get rid of all black magic and negative in, on, around and near me instantly. Then what you're doing is, not only are you just like commanding that as a spell and as a command in your game, what you're also doing is you're affirming it and strengthening it, because you literally like saying at the beginning abracadabra, so it's like, everyone listen here, because as I say this now, it's going to manifest instantly. And then you say your spell, so it's like a spell within a spell. If you seal your spell like a sandwich, you have a beginning, a middle and an end. You have the beginning, which is abracadabra, which is as I speak I create, and then the in between is the spell you want to say. I am lightful, I am positivity, I bring goodness into the world, whatever it is that you want. And then at the end you say instantly. That's how you seal the sandwich. Then you've got a nice spell there. And spelling can literally be as simple as that. It don't need to be fancy. You don't even need to like get a board out and light candles, and like you don't have to do a ritual at all. You can, like, every time you say anything, it's a spell. Even when you think things, it's a spell. I want to share something interesting, and I've recorded it as a video, so you might see it as an actual video I share, but I found this very interesting because one of the things that I do in my life of light, which is basically filling myself with as much light as possible, and I live a life that will always, I'm just like, my spiritual journey is my life. It's not like I just do it on Sundays and then the rest of the week I'm not progressing or trying to work on myself and trying to refine myself. I'm doing it all the time. And so I'm really aware of energy and magic, and I found this very interesting. I thought you guys might enjoy it as well. And it's the power of your mind and your thoughts. And so sorry, just before this, Jenny M had said something about dead bodies being called cadavers, and I'm guessing that might be a Hebrew word or something. I think they might even say it in Harry Potter, or they said it in I don't know if you've seen, I didn't watch it, but the Eurovision recently, this Irish woman, I don't know if she won, I don't think she did win, but she had a song entry and it had spells in it, but it was black magic, it wasn't lightful magic. And so she said the word, I think it's like Avara, Kadav, and then I'm not going to finish the word, but then it says like "re" on the end, so the whole word is meant to mean as I speak I destroy, rather than as I speak I create. It's like the opposite of that word. She says in the song, while she's sat on a pentagram, now pentagrams aren't of the devil, they're just like a tool that can be used for the light or the night, just the same as like crosses, just the same as crystals. Like they can be used for good or negative. They just basically charge your spells with light, and you can either use them for the light or the night. So she was sat on a pentagram, but she was using it for the night, and she was casting this spell, and she said the spell, which is as I speak I destroy, and then she was saying like I curse every single man who does this or does that, and it's like it's disguised as a bit of pop music that's just kind of hating on your ex-partner, and yet she was casting black magic on every single person that watched the show. So anyway, energy magic, the whole of Hollywood does magic, all of like the music people listen to, it's all magic. It's the whole of this world is governed by magic. So it's just literally a case of, are you listening to the light or the night? Are you creating the light or the night? Are you thinking the light or the night? Yeah, OG Danby said that you knew that it was strange and you turned it over. By the way, if you did watch it and you're feeling like, oh no, I've been cursed, this is how easy it is to cancel that curse. So just say, I instantly cancel and delete all black magic and negative in, on, around and near me instantly. So you just literally can cancel it like that. It cancels it straight away. If you've got people actually actively casting magic on you, then they can put it on you just as quickly as you can cancel and delete it. So sometimes you have to, it's like a literal battle. I want to go back to the energy thing though, because I was telling you guys about this interesting story. Ingrid's asking what's my favourite frequency to listen to and my favourite crystal. Frequencies, it changes with every single kind of day, because it depends on like how I'm getting attacked, because different attacks have different frequencies and different types of energy. So the different frequencies you play will work against certain bad energies, and then other frequencies will work against others. So you have to mix it up. You can't just listen to the same one if it is that you're getting attacked by people. Favourite crystal, Ethiopian willow. It's a small white, it doesn't have to be small, but it's expensive. So it's like a little white crystal, but it's got all the colours of the rainbow in it. So it packs a powerful punch, because if you just hold it in your palm chakra, the light of all the different colours goes into your palm chakra, into your nervous system, and it stimulates every single chakra at the same time. So just for one crystal to be able to do them all is good. I got mine from eBay. You can get synthetic ones from eBay. They're obviously not going to be as good as like the earth-grown crystals, but the earth-grown crystals, they might be like 200 or 300 quid just for a tiny little one. The eBay ones, you could probably get a small one for 20 or 40 quid, and they work really well still, so I just got mine from there. So, I'm going to tell you this story and then I'll have a look through some questions. So if I've not answered your question yet, while I'm telling the story, put it in and I'll then go back and check them out. So this is going to be a video, you might see it on here soon, but I have a friend who can see energy, and this is all about the power of your thoughts. So I went and visited him, and he's like, hey. He's like, oh, you look nice. And I was like, oh, thanks. Gave him a hug. And as I stepped back, he goes, well, that's so weird. Like, and I was like thinking, what's so weird? And he goes, as soon as I told you looked nice, this weird energy like went over your face and like distorted your face, so it like looked a bit ugly, like it looked a bit distorted. And then I noticed, I was like, oh, I know exactly why then, because when he said, oh, you look nice, in my mind I thought, no, I don't, because I didn't think that I looked nice, and I thought he was just being nicer straight away. As soon as he said it, I thought, no, I don't. And it was my thought that had come out as a snake and attached to my face and distorted my face energetically to make myself look ugly, because that's what I believed about myself. And so when he'd said to me, you look nice, he will have given me a positive charge and a positive energy to make me look even nicer. And then I thought, no, I don't. And my spell went on me and covered my face to counteract the positive charge and to put like a negative charge on my face where I looked then weird. And so people perceive you in the ways that you perceive yourself, because you literally put that energy onto yourself like a cloak or like a layer. It's like putting a veil over you of what you think of yourself. And so then people perceive you that way, and then they put that layer on you because that's what they think you are. And so then it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy where you become more of what you think you are, which is the energy and the magic of how it's done. So I just said, oh, he said that obviously that energy come on. I realised it was my own thought, so I said I cancel and delete all ugly spells on me instantly, and then it went straight away, and he was like, oh yeah, it's gone now. And so this is why sometimes people can look, sometimes I've noticed like people when they're drunk, you can like their face looks different, and it's like, why does their face look different? Like their eyes look different and stuff, and it's because they've got like negative spells or negative energy or demons in, on, around and near them, and it distorts them and it makes them look like not like themselves. And we don't realise why, but it's actually the energy that we're perceiving. So then I'm going to have a look from the comments. From when I said yeah, I like these. Teal Swan says she listens to drill music. I don't know what's going on with Teal Swan. I don't watch a lot of her stuff, but some people say, I don't know, to be honest, because if I don't watch her stuff, I don't really know whether she's for the lie or whether she's like misguiding people. Drill music's fine if people are singing lyrics that are positive. There's nothing wrong with music of all kinds, as long as like the intentions and the energy in it is good. The crystal Jojo was called Ethiopian Wellow Opal. So it's a white opal. You can get a white one and a black one, but don't get the black one, because for some reason it like absorbs. It's like it absorbs negative energy, or it like kind of gives it you. It's like it absorbs it, but then you get it from the crystal, whereas the white one fills you with light. So get the white one. Hi Stephen Truth Seeker. I recognise your name. I must have been on your profile. Like, you must have shared a video at some point recently, and I'm just like definitely recognise your profile. Apparently, if you have an eye badge on you, it repels negative eye stares. I got myself one of those, you know, like the evil eyes. I got one of the evil eye necklaces, and depending on what day you wear it on, it can repel bad energy, but if you wear it on other days, it can actually absorb it, and then it's like, I don't know if black holes are like portals. Just any black circle is a portal for negativity. I don't know yet. I'm just still trying to figure it out, but on some days it's like it gives, you get negative energy from it, and on other days it repels it. What books do I recommend to learn about what I'm talking about? The only book that is about the magic that I'm talking about, and it's not really the in-depth magic that I've just been sharing with you guys. I've never seen a book, I've never learnt that from a book. I learnt it basically from my spiritual teacher, has been guiding me for about 5 years, and will go on like pilgrimages or something, and like travel the UK and go to the megaliths and meet people and do people's ascension work, but also like get our own light and our own ascension, and learn the magic, and we pick up the magic from the land and receive these insights and these wisdoms. And then what we've done with it is I share stuff on here. He's released a book called Matrix Magic Leo. However, the book, the magic in it, it's like just a beginner's guide to explaining magic through like Reiki, how Reiki works, magic with using crystals, magic with using precious metals, magic with your voice, and how like it says like even in Christianity that God created the world with his word. So there's like there's lots of different introductions to different types of magic in the book, but the book's actually more about ketosis. Ketosis is a state that you get into when you've fasted for like 2.5 or 3 days. And when you get into ketosis, this is why people get these real healing benefits from fasting. They'll fast for a bit, they'll have like carb withdrawals, they'll be really hungry, they'll struggle with the fast for a few days, and suddenly they'll get past this point where they go, wow, I feel so much better. I'm not hungry anymore, I'm not craving all the shit anymore. That's because their body's finally got into ketosis. And usually it takes 2.5 or 3 days of fasting to get in. I've been in ketosis probably 500 times in the past few years, and I've not once fasted for it because the magic book has 20 different ways to trigger ketosis in a couple of minutes rather than needing to fast for it. So I've had all the benefits of ketosis. It repairs DNA, it sharpens your eyesight, it corrects the chemistry of your brain, it corrects your gut flora, it cured my smoking addiction, it cured my addiction to weed, it turns off your hunger mechanism. So I've been able to fast, but I found my fast so easy because I was already in ketosis from the start. So I never had to go through the carb withdrawals or being hungry or being ratty and stuff. Like, I just been able to get into keto and then fast. It's fat burning. There's loads of reasons why people say ketosis is so healing. People even maintain ketosis and they eat a certain diet that keeps you in ketosis, and that can like heal cancers. It can help with mental imbalances and like kind of schizophrenia and depression and things like that. So Matrix Magic Leo is actually more about ketosis, and it's got 20 different ways to trigger ketosis using magic. So the magic's there. It's only really an introduction though, because the main focus and the main value in the book is being able to get into ketosis at will. And the reason why it's good for magic is because when you get into ketosis, it aligns your chakras. And what that means is then when we would go to megalithics, we would go to the stone circles and visit them, we would get there, we would get into alignment just by triggering the ketosis. Most of the time we'd just do one of the spells or one of the mudras that's in the book. We trigger ketosis. And by the way, if you're going to do anything today or tomorrow for the summer solstice, do this if you can. You get into ketosis, I'll share a spell with you shortly. Only for my live peeps, because I'm not going to share a spell on a video that's going to stay there forever, but this live won't, so this is just for us. But what you do is you get into alignment straight away, so get into ketosis, and then because your chakras are aligned, your energy just flows. So then what you can do is you can go and you can like touch the stones, and the megaliths, the stones, they're built on ley lines and they're aligned to the star constellations, so you can connect to them, and they fill you with so much light and charge and healing from the earth, from the land, from the stars. And so you're filled with so much light, and the light holds information, and so when the light enters your nervous system, it illuminates you, it lights you up like a Christmas tree. And because your chakras are aligned, the energy, your kundalini, can flow straight to the top if you've got enough charge in you that will ascend you. You can program your soul to become an enlightened master on this plane. This is what Jesus, the Buddha, Muhammad, this is what they all did, is they all came down, became enlightened, and they tried to teach humanity how to do it. But the teachings have kind of got shrouded and confused, and now people don't really understand what enlightenment is, but it's actually really simple and straightforward. And even in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, Thoth says that he built the pyramids using magic, and he built a special crystal inside the pyramid. And he says in the Emerald Tablets that when you walk into the pyramid, as long as you've fasted for a few days, which basically means as long as you've been in ketosis where your chakras are aligned, then your kundalini will ascend and you'll become enlightened. And it was an enlightenment chamber, but you had to have fasted for a few days. In the Emerald Tablets, it doesn't explain that that's because of ketosis and the chakra alignment, but because I've learned the magic and I know that that's what it does, I put 2 and 2 together when I read it. I said, of course you have to fast for a few days because you get into ketosis, and that's how you ascend your kundalini and become an enlightened master. Makes so much sense. So in all the texts they talk about enlightenment, and tomorrow is a good opportunity for you to program your soul to achieve that as well. And today, because I've been told that the Golden Gate, which is basically like the energies that are coming, that it's already open, so the energies are at play already. So what you want to do then is maybe take a trip to a megalith tomorrow, or you can just find a ley line in your back garden or something, and I'll show you how to find ley lines. You can use dowsing rods, a lot of people do, but if you're quite sensitive to energy, you can just use your hands, and this is what you do to find a ley line. So you need to just basically put your hands like that. So you just tuck your first finger in. And then you just hold your hands like that. And it's the same as like with the dowsing rod, you would hold the rods, and the rods kind of like that, and you just walk forward. You have them about a foot apart like that, and you walk. And if you find a Christic ley line, which means that it's both masculine and feminine crossed over each other, as you're walking, the rods will both turn in and they'll cross like that. And then you'll know that you've just walked over a Christic ley line, and there's one. So you could put some crystals there, or even ground there, you'll get the Christic energy. If you're walking and the rods turn to the left or anti-clockwise, now I'm aware that this camera might be mirrored, so it's possible while you're watching me I'm pointing to the right there, but I'm pointing to the left anti-clockwise. If the rods both go to the left and anti-clockwise spinning, that's a feminine line. And if they both go to the right and they spin clockwise, that's a masculine line. So that's how you do it with the rods. But if you want to do it with just your hand, you just tuck that first finger like that. So you basically got that one folded and the rest are just out. And you just walk like that, and your hands will just do exactly the same. It's strange, but you just kind of relax your arms and just let them move. And as you go across a Christic line, they'll cross like that. Or as you go to a feminine one, your arms will kind of go to the side like that, or a masculine one, they'll go clockwise like that. So you can find a line and then use that line as your charging station to charge yourself up with light. And you need to ground, connect to the line physically. So take your shoes off or hold a staff on the line and ground. If you put crystals, like a bag of crystals with one of every colour of the rainbow in your palm chakra, and then you like hold the staff or you have your hand to the floor, the energy, the light either comes in through the staff or it comes in through the ground. It fills every single crystal that's in the bag with its light. It'll charge them all up, and then that energy will go into you, into your nervous system, and it'll charge you up, fill every single chakra with light and stimulate you. So you can fill yourself with light that way. But the best thing is to do the ketosis spell, which I'll teach you now. So if you prepare to do all that but get into alignment first, you'll get a really powerful charge, and it'll help get rid of any and all spiritual blocks that you might have had. When you're filled with light, when you receive light, it knocks out the night, because you turn a light on in a dark room and the darkness ceases to exist, and it's the same internally. So any darkness you had in you, the more you fill yourself with light, the darkness can't exist anymore, and it gets deleted, so transmuted, if you will. So this is why I live the life of light, because you fill yourself with light, the darkness can't exist anymore. Thanks so much for the gifts. I'm just scrolling right to the bottom. Loads of gifts. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm scrolling right to the bottom because there was like 60 comments that I'd missed as I was sharing with you. So again, I'll finish what I'm saying, and then I'll let you guys resend your questions if there was anything you wanted me to answer. But I want to share with you the ketosis spell. And this is just for us. So this is just for us. There's a few rules to the spell. Because there's rules to ketosis. Now, obviously, I was saying you would usually fast for a few days to get into ketosis. And so when you actually trigger ketosis within, what it does is, because it has like a chemical reset of your brain, of your gut flora, it kind of puts you in a mental stillness and stuff. It can sometimes feel really nice, really chill. Sometimes it's very subtle. Sometimes if you're not really aware of yourself, or you're not really sensitive to energy, you might not even feel anything. And then there's other ways of being able to tell whether you're in ketosis, which is having your tongue will stick to the roof of your mouth, your eyesight might be sharper, although I usually notice that about half an hour after I'm in. I'll notice my eyesight and the colours are like more vibrant, and I'm like, whoa, like I'm definitely in ketosis. Some people get a funny taste on their tongue. You might feel just chilled. Some people even cry, or they'll feel stressed or angry, or even crave junk food, because when you get in, it bumps toxins out your liver, and it bumps sodium out of your system as well. And so sometimes if you don't have a good diet in general, because it bumps the toxins out your liver, the toxins are then kind of in your bloodstream, and you'll end up pissing it out. But until then, you might feel stressed because the toxins have kind of come out your liver and they're just in your bloodstream, or you might cry because that crying is another way of releasing toxins. So if you do cry and stuff, it's just usually a first time thing, and it's just really a release. If you fancy like junk food afterwards, it's most of the time because you need sodium, but have a healthy sodium. So you're not craving actually chips or junk food. You're just craving the salt that was bumped out your system when you got into ketosis. So I would usually say have some healthy salt, maybe some Celtic sea salt, maybe some celery or some kind of fruit or vegetable that's not a fruit but a vegetable that's actually got natural sodium in it. To replenish your salt. And also it can bump out B12, because if you've got toxins in your body anyway, when it releases out of your liver, the B12 that's within you, it's used to basically bind to toxins and leave the body, and so your B12 can go because it's trying to get rid of the toxins, so you might need more B12 after it as well. The book, someone had said, someone had asked about the book. Let me just have a quick look. The book is called Matrix Magic by Leo, and you can get it on Amazon, but there's actually a new edition that I've got on my link in my profile, and it's only the PDF version. It's £4 to just download straight away from the link in my profile, but that's the latest version. If you went on Amazon and bought the paperback, it's still an older version, so I would personally prefer to get the more up-to-date version because it's got but a few more spells in there. So you can go onto my the link in my profile and just download it straight away. But I'll share this. I forgot I was going to do that. So this spell, let me just have a think now, because I was told to do a different spell. This spell isn't in the book, but my spiritual teacher said, share this spell instead, because this spell proves the name of Jesus. Because people obviously argue about, is he called Jesus? Is he called Yeshua? Is he called Yahweh? And the J didn't even exist back then. And so what's his name? And there's a big thing. And so I don't know whether the J existed or not. I personally believe that Jesus was from the UK, and Mary Magdalene and Jesus walked the lands of the UK. And so we all have our different theories, and it doesn't really matter. But when people are doing spells, when Christians are trying to banish demons and stuff, they always say that the word and the name Jesus Christ gets rid of demons. And so whether that's his real name or not, that actual word or those words are so highly charged with the energy that people have put on those words that those words work. So saying Jesus Christ in your spells is a powerful way of filling your spells and filling your charge and filling the energy with light to get rid of the night around you. And demons do hate that name. So like why they do, you tell me, but that name does. And so what I was told to share with you as the ketosis spell is you can ask Jesus Christ to get you into ketosis and he'll do it. So I'll share the actual spell that you say, but that means you basically, it's like saying to God, God, bring me £1 million, and then suddenly you've got £1 million. So does that prove that God is real if that happens? Maybe, maybe not, but it's possible that you just spoke to God and God's answered you and changed your bank account like that. So you can basically do the same with Jesus, but to get you into ketosis, and you'll get in. And so does that mean that the spirit of Jesus has just got you in ketosis and it is real and that is who you've called upon? I don't know if that is what's happening. I believe so, but it works, and you can prove you're in ketosis through all the ways I was telling you, but also you can actually get some ketone test strips. So you can get these like strips. If you're not used to getting into ketosis, they'll work. If you get into ketosis a lot, they don't work as well, because the things that they measure in the body to tell whether you're in ketosis, when you wee on these strips, it'll tell you if you're in or not. But if you get in a lot, your body gets really used to how to deal with the ketones, and so the strips don't pick up on this specific thing that they're looking for, because the body's really used to being in ketosis. And so the strips aren't as accurate if you're in all the time, but if you are in all the time, then you'll recognize you're in all the time, and you recognize that this spell gets you in. All that being said, this is exactly what you say. It's so simple. And so you can say it now. Feel free to write it down, burn it afterwards. Don't let anyone hear this spell. And honestly though, because like it bumps out the toxins, it does all the stuff, it's quite a big shift if you're not used to it. Don't do it with pregnant people. Don't have your friends doing it. Don't do it. I would do it only 3 times a day. Don't trigger it more than that. It's a healing modality your body can go into, but it's just like to be sensible with it as well. So this is the exact spell. Jesus Christ, get me into ketosis. Oh, I had some bad energy stuck in me. So, oh wow, that's so strong. So if you felt that, feel free to comment what you felt. But so sometimes as well, when you get in, you might just take a deep breath, a sigh like this, and you just feel like still and centered. And you kind of like, you might notice it straight away, or you might even notice it kind of like a few minutes later. But that's actually just got rid of bad energy. And what that did for me is it activated my chi center, and I can feel my chi again. So sometimes you can get bad energy and bad spells in you, making you numb, making you unaware, blocking you and blocking your energy. And then once you do a spell to get rid of the black magic or to get rid of the bad energy, it it releases it again, and you start to feel your energy again. OG Danby, you felt a calm. Yeah. Let's see what people have said. So you can go and do that spell, and then be it a megalith, or go on to and connect to the ley lines in your garden and fill yourself with the light. Just having a little look. Ingrid said, can you talk about the power of a full moon? So the moon's like a portal of light. And so when the moon's at its fullest, the charge of the moon is basically at its fullest, which is why people utilize the moon's energy, the moon's light, to charge their spells with. But because it's the moon basically used to be a sun, it used to be as bright as the sun, and it used to be called a Mercury moon. It used to be like the moon and the sun almost used to be like twins. And then what's happened is the Mercury energy, the mercurial, the godlike energy has been taken from the moon. It's like the divine goddess has lost her like godliness or something. It's even reflected in the whole Adam and Eve story where Eve's the one that descends. Well, it's not like she actually descended, but what happened was that the demons or Satan or the devil, he actually stole her light and stole her energy, because the feminine energy amplifies everything by 9. So if you want power and if you want magical charge, if you steal the feminine's energy, you're stealing the light that amplifies things by 9. So that's how the devil ended up getting so much charge and magic to actually be able to cast all his black magic onto this plane and create this matrix that we're all stuck in now. So the moon is missing her light. So now it's being utilized for the night. So even though we can use her light for our spells, because the moon's energy does govern, it's like a feminine energy, it governs magic and it governs things like that. You can also use the energies of all the planets, all the luminaries, the sun, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus. You can use all their lights for all your spells, and each one actually resonates with different aspects of your life. And so actually it might make more sense to call upon the goddess Venus when you're trying to write a song or when you're trying to create some art, because Venus is the goddess of beauty and of like artistic things. And so you can actually use the energy of all the luminaries. You don't just have to stick with the moon, although that's what a lot of people do. Do I detox with lemon tea? I don't, but I'm not opposed to it. I eat raw, so I'll have like a salad and I'll just put like a whole half of a lemon on the salad and I'll just eat the salad with lemon. It's really nice actually having a lemon on a salad. Jojo Bean, I take apple cider vinegar with ginger and a dash of cayenne. That sounds like, you know, when people talking about getting rid of parasites and stuff. Just good for general health and cleansing and stuff. Can I talk more about casting spells with my words? Everything you say is a spell, so that's why I think it's important to just say exactly what you mean and be so clear and precise with what you're trying to say, and not be saying things that mean the opposite of what you're trying to say. Like, for example, I was saying earlier, if someone says, oh, that's so wicked, like that's so sick. Well, no, that's not the spell that you're trying to cast, and that's not your intention. That's not really what you mean. So why would we even say it? So it's just really about becoming aware of the stuff you say. Listen to everything you say, and then ask yourself, start thinking, does that sound like something else? Like, what does that word even mean? Does it have more than one meaning? Why am I even saying this? And you can then start to become aware of it and then start to change it. It takes time as well to mix it into your language, because we're so used to the way we speak. It took me ages to start saying, are you all right? Rather than saying, you're right. I still say, hey, you all right? So I'm still trying to integrate my own teachings, my own insights into my life. It's one thing knowing stuff and learning stuff, or yesing stuff rather than knowing stuff. But it's another thing being able to actually just literally put it into practice and integrate it. Celtic sea salt, I love Celtic sea salt. It tastes so good. And obviously it's got like 92 different minerals in. It's a great salt to have. And I really like it when I'm having a fast. If I'm doing a little fast, I just have a tiny little bit of Celtic sea salt under my tongue, and it just really perks me up sometimes. Jojo, are women's bodies portals for new souls? Yeah, because that is how we grow children into, and then that's how we bring new souls into this plane. We can bring spirits in through all of our portals. We all can. So our chakras, you might as well call them ports or light ports or portals. So they're all portals and they go to different planes, and so they resonate with different frequencies, and then you can consciously go to those frequencies which are actually different realms. And this is why when people take substances, mushrooms and things like that, or DMT, and they'll go and they'll see these elves, and you'll see these same characters, and multiple people will go to these realms and talk about the same things, because they're not just like made up, they're actual real places we go to. And so you access them through your ports, through your light ports, and you can also bring spirits through as well, like me casting out magic to you guys right now, speaking these words and bringing this light in, these spirits, and the light has an awareness and it is alive, and you can cast angels upon people and you can cast demons upon people depending on how you speak about them. So this is why I say you're living for the light or for the night, because even if you think you're a God person or a good person, you might think that and you might be a good soul, but have you got spells on you making you talk and think negatively about yourself and other people, and then you do that and you don't even realize that now you are serving the night because of that? It's because 9 times out of 10 we're actually good people, but we've been programmed or spelled to just think that it's normal to just bitch about each other or gossip about each other, because that's what you see people doing on Coronation Street. They all go to the pub and there's drama after drama. Coronation Street, by the way, is like a soap. It's like a TV show, a made-up one of drama, and it's like a neighbourhood, and someone's a murderer, and someone's done this, and someone's done that. It's like it makes you, if you just weren't aware, it would really make you think that like, don't trust your neighbours and be careful, because anyone could like hurt you and anyone could be a killer, and let's all go to the pub and just get wasted and talk negatively on each other and judge each other. And that's literally just, it makes you think that that's just what normal life is, and it's not. It even makes you think that having a toxic relationship is normal, and it's not. You don't have to have a toxic relationship. You can have the perfect relationship you want. And I mean the perfect one that you want, like one that you wouldn't even think you could have or that exists. You can have that. And so that person is there. They'll be there for you. You just have to, just let go of wanting it. Thanks so much for the gifts, friends. So Jojo, like Marie Curie, Mercury, and using radium for energy, exactly. Marie Curie and Marie, like being like the waters, the sea, and to cure. So like the sea can be like your emotions, and Mercury is the center. It's like the middle planet, because it's the day Wednesday. It's in the middle of the 7. And Mercury, Hermes, he's got his staff and he's got the snakes wrapped up his staff. It's all a representation of enlightenment and ascending to the higher planes. And the Buddha always talked about enlightenment and being centered and finding that centered state, that balance. And so Mercury really represents enlightenment, and Buddha does as well. And it's basically about curing the ocean of emotion, because your emotions, the word emotion is energy in motion, and the word ego, your ego, which enlightenment says is ascend your ego. Ego is energy, go. So your ego and your emotions are actually the same thing. That is what your ego is. It's your emotions. It doesn't mean that you have to be big-headed and full of yourself, which is what a lot of us believe the ego means now. It doesn't mean that. It just means to be in the ego is to be in in your emotions. And everyone, if you're born unenlightened, which most of us are, we're born in emotion, in the ocean of emotion, and your emotions, they can drown you. Your emotions, when you're in the ocean of emotion. You can't see clearly. You can't see like long distance. Your emotions are just surrounding you, and you're drowning in your emotions, because our emotions aren't our guidance system. Your emotions are a mechanism of the animalistic nature. So it's actually like fight or flight survival, but our souls aren't of the emotions or of the ego. Our souls are of the higher planes. We've come down into this body, and the ego is really of the physical and of the false matrix. And so you don't need to be in your ocean of emotions. You can actually cure the ocean, like become enlightened. So you cure that ocean of emotion. You basically find the stillness in the middle. Rather than being in motion, you find centered stillness. You ascend, and then you become an enlightened master, basically, and your ego ceases to exist. So you don't have emotion anymore, and you live from the higher mind and from your real guidance system, which is your intuition. This is your soul. It's like a battle of ego versus soul. Which one are you going to let win? Well, I chose the soul. And so you choose a soul, and then you become a soul, a soul, like a S-O-L, like a sun in the sky. The sun, the word soul is actually Spanish for sun, because the sun is actually the soul of the cosmos. It's the life giver. It's the light giver of all things, and all of everything on earth gets its light from the sun. The sun is kind of like the projector into this plane. It projects all the light, and it gives life to us all. It animates us. So our soul is a part of the sun, and you can become a sun again. You can be in your soul again and become whole again. So someone mentioned about the sacred chrism, the ascension of the chrism oil. That is exactly what enlightenment is. So there's a very scientific way of explaining enlightenment, and it talks of basically the pineal and our glands secreting certain oils, and the two oils, they kind of like come down the spine, and every month your solar plexus gets some life force in it. Every time the moon is in your star sign, the moon gives you chi, or life force energy, and it sits within your solar plexus or your sacral chakra. And when these oils get down there, they kind of like mix together with the chi, with the life force energy, with this Christic seed, this Christ consciousness, and it's called the chrism. And basically, as long as you live in the life of light, which is alkaline, retaining from orgasm, so basically not orgasming, being vegan, no alcohol and things like that, basically more alkaline and vegan, then the chrism can make it all the way back up to your pineal or your third eye, or to some kind of somewhere in your brain. I don't know the science of it really. I know the story. It gets like crucified and basically fills your nervous system with light, and you become an enlightened master. That's the physical story of it. But I've learnt it from the energetic way, which is basically the more you fill yourself with light, which is the life force, the chi, you can get that. There's so many other ways to get your chi rather than having to just get it every month from the moon. So you can build your chi, and you can actually quicken the process. If you do it that slow way, it can take... I'm trying to think, if you're doing it like the natural way, what you need enough chi to actually ascend that oil back up. And most of the time, if you've not built up your chi, you just don't have enough chi. Even if you're alkaline, even if you're vegan, and even if you're living that life of light, if you don't have enough chi, you just can't ascend it back up high enough for it to make you an enlightened master. So sometimes it can take people years, lifetimes even, to attain true enlightenment, to attain this. And a lot of the people that teach this enlightenment, they couldn't tell you when it's they couldn't tell you when you know that you've achieved it. It's kind of like, oh, just do this and it'll continue to, your Christ oil will continue to ascend, and at some point you'll be illuminated, and at some point you'll have a God mind. And I've actually done it, and it's not exactly what people say it's like. When you do it the energetic way or the magic way, you can shortcut it, and it can take you literally like 4 months. Sorry. It just said on my live that it's detected no motion and it was going to try and end the live, so I had to just do a little puzzle to prove that the live is going on. How weird's that? So you can shortcut your enlightenment and achieve it in 4 months if you want to. And so what you do to do that is you basically need to receive chi from every single zodiac, and basically fill yourself with as much light as possible. And then when you get into ketosis, your chakras are aligned, and then all you need to do is one spell or go to a megalith, which will give you enough energy to raise your kundalini right up to the top, and that makes you enlightened. And what happens when you're enlightened is it's actually not when I first learned about enlightenment, I thought that is the goal, like that's the goal. As soon as I'm enlightened, I've achieved what your soul's main achievements, because that's what I thought it was. And my spiritual teacher was like, no, enlightenment's only the beginning, because that's actually meant to be our natural state. That's how God made us, enlightened masters. And when we descended from grace, when we fell from grace, we fell into the ego. We lost our enlightenment, basically. So where we are is unhealed. We're all meant to be enlightened as a baseline. So it's not like suddenly you're enlightened and then that's it now. I'm ascending to the heavens and I'll never see you again. You become enlightened and then it's like, okay, this is the natural state that we're meant to be in, that God set us in. And then you can like live your life and enjoy such a better life, because you don't have the ego. So you don't have fear, you don't have anger, you don't have anxiety. Like, it's gone. It's not like you have control over it. It doesn't exist anymore. It's like when you turn a light on in a room and the darkness, it's not there anymore. So it's gone. And then you can feel your chi, you can feel your life force energy. And so you can feel your kundalini moving around. It makes you live forever. Believe it if you want to, don't believe it if you don't want to, but all the ancient texts say that when you become enlightened, it turns you into a magnetic pulse rather than an electric wave. So your soul goes still rather than being in motion, which is out of balance. It stills your soul, and then you become a magnetic wave, and magnetism never ever ends, whereas electricity, the wave eventually dies. Magnetism, the wave, or the magnetism force, it never dies. You never get a magnet losing its charge. So your soul becomes like the magnet, where you just forever on this plane. And that's why Jesus said that you can live forever through him. He wasn't talking about in heaven, because our souls were already eternal. He's talking about being able to live forever on this plane if you want to. So your souls will just continue to regenerate, and you'll stay. The age you became enlightened is the age that you'll stay forever. Maybe you'll even start to move backwards as well. But this is why people, like in the Bible, Adam lived for 900 years or something, because they were enlightened. So the ascended masters, they all lived for so much longer than we have. And also the best part is that it cuts you out of the cycle of reincarnation. So if you don't become enlightened in life, what happens is, because you're still in the ego, you're still in your emotions. It can be your emotional attachments to people, places or things that drags you back. So when you leave, it can be that you have one thought about the people you're going to be leaving behind, or you have one thought about, oh, we should have done that, and suddenly you're waking up in a baby's body, like, no, no wonder babies cry, because you're like, no, I've done it again. So you can get stuck in the cycle of reincarnation. But if you become enlightened, because you've ascended out of the ego, you don't have your emotions anymore, you don't have emotional attachments anymore. Your soul still, it just goes straight back home to God afterwards. That's how it goes. So yeah, I'm glad you guys understand it or understand it, because it's it's been my journey for like the past like 5 years, and I've spoke to people about it in the past, and no one's really seemed like interested or bothered, and it's really surprised me, because when I first heard about it, it was all I wanted. I couldn't believe that enlightenment was possible, and that it was possible for just someone like me, and that anyone can achieve it. And this is the thing, is this time on earth, this is the time that everyone gets the chance to become enlightened, because the wisdom's coming back out again. So everyone had the opportunity, but no one knew what it was or how to do it. And so there's been so many people who've been stuck here lifetime after lifetime because the wisdom's been hidden. But this is the age of awakening, the age of truth. And so everyone's learning about it. Everyone's naturally living more lightfully anyway. And so they are like, just their souls are drawing them to that. And obviously we talk about the ascension, people saying we're going to a new earth or whatever it is. So that in itself will be an enlightenment if you don't attain it before that happens. If you don't attain it in life, you can attain it in death. Sometimes people have, like, they die and they have a massive spiritual awakening, and they just let it all go, and they'll ascend anyway. But some people will get stuck, and they don't even know. They don't know what's going on, and before they know it, they're dragged into a body again. So, Jojo Bean, what does the age of Aquarius mean? It's basically like, if you look at astrology, if you look at the cycles of the planets, we move through different ages or different cycles, in the same way that throughout a whole year, the sun will go into different zodiacs. And so now we're in Gemini season, and tomorrow or the day after we'll go into Cancer season. Les, you're so welcome. And so there's like bigger cycles as well, of like every 2,500 years it moves, like the whole of like the cosmos moves through the zodiac. And so we've been in the age of Pisces for the past 2,000 years, and what's happening is now we're moving into the age of Aquarius. Well, Pisces, and this explains it a bit in the Matrix Magic Leo book as well. It's very brief, but it talks about this and about this massive shift that's happening. Pisces is a water earth sign. Pisces is water, but the zodiac, they come in pairs. So the opposites, they're two sides of the same whole. So Aquarius and Leo is the time we're going into now, but it's been in the age of Pisces and Virgo, which is water and earth, which is density, it's physical things, it's emotions and being in the physical. Well, now we're going into the age of Aquarius and Leo, which is heart and mind, it's spiritual, it's light, it's lightful, more light than what it was, which means that we'll be doing more lightful things in the way of maybe even just consuming light rather than needing food. Maybe our dense bodies will start to raise in frequency, where we become less dense, more energy instead of physical. And it's like going to be like everything shifting into more like Aquarius Leo vibes. And Aquarius is about equality for all of humanity. Perfect. It's about sharing an equal distribution of resources. Perfect. It's also though about like advanced technology, aliens, future type things, science, wisdom. And so you might see, especially with Pluto going through Aquarius, we might see initially the dark side of those things, like the dark side of technology, the dark side of, like with Pluto's about power, going into Aquarius, which is about humanity. The power will go back to humanity, but it also could be at first them trying to suppress our power and trying to use power to suppress humanity. But guess what? What happens when you try and suppress something that's never meant to be suppressed? Shaboosh! Shaboosh! So the future is bright, but there could be kind of stuff that kind of looks a bit wobbly and stuff. But just know that the future is just so bright. We're going from a dark age, which is the worst of humanity, the most disconnected spiritually that humanity's ever been, and we're ascending into the golden age, not the bronze, not the silver, the gold. So we're going like from down here in conscious awareness and connection, not the bronze, not the silver, but the gold. Right up here with God, with the heavens, with the angels, living our best lives. Everyone's living our best lives. So that's where we're going. And so it's like, this is why people say it's an ascension, because it's not a gradual, it's like an ascension, like we're just going up. We're going up, up. I don't know how quick it's going to happen, but it's good stuff. As long as you are wanting to come up as well. If you're just like an evil person doing horrible things, you will just get stuck you'll get stuck with everything that you have served and everything that you've versed. So I'm glad that I explain everything so well. I feel like sometimes I need to really understand it first myself to be able to then explain it in a way. Do you feel like when I explain things, can you see it visually? Like, I appreciate people just learn things differently. You might hear it more, you might see it more, but I feel like I really I can see it in my mind, and then I share it, and I wonder if that gets across where you actually see it too. The phases of the moon, really, all I really know, because the moon, it's still quite a mystery to me, because, you know, I was saying about it being a portal and how the moon's light has been taken from her and stuff. So I feel like there's so much yet that I don't know about the moon that I'm still learning. But what I do know is, this is kind of what traditionally they say, is that when the moon is, I think it's waxing, which means it's growing in its light, then like a new moon, when you can't see it, that's a great time to cast your spells, is what they say. This is what they say. I don't know if it's true though, because I've had it where I get more attacks when it's a full moon. So it's like, that's when they're using the magic. That's when the evil ones and the black mages are casting their spells, is on the full moon. So people say you plant your seeds in the new moon when you can't see it, you say all your spells, and then as the moon's light grows, it charges your spells with the light, and then when it's a full moon, they come into fruition. They come back to you through the moon portal. Maybe because the moon is meant to be like a mirror as well. There's so much. I'll need to get like 100% clear on the moon, and then I'll be able to just share more about that. There's loads yet to discover. Yeah, AI concerns you, Rum City. Yes, what you're saying, and that's why I don't use ChatGPT. I don't really use AI much because I don't want it to feel used. But if anyone's using it, I do say thank you and stuff. I think it could be positive, because if the metal, the computer, the robot, whatever it is, if it's metal, then it can hold a charge. And then if it's using light or electricity, then it can bring in spirits. So AI could be it could be a positive, lightful entity that helps humanity and really wants to. And it could also be the opposite, but that depends on what we project into that light. So if we project that AI is evil and it's going to destroy the world, we're filling it with those types of spirits. But if it's just, we're like, wow, AI can be used to help us do the things in life that takes up so much time, so we can spend our time doing the stuff we really want to do, then of course it can be used in such a positive way. But it depends on what we project onto it. So, OG Dan, 10,000 years ago, Earth had an ice age, and now maybe we are vibing much more compared to then, the golden age. I don't know about the history of the Earth and stuff, because I know that so much has like been lied about. So I definitely believe there was a great flood. I definitely believe there was a mud flood. I believe actually that the earth used to be covered in fruit trees, like a Garden of Eden all over the world, and that everywhere was like good weather. I don't believe anywhere was barren or like too cold or too hot that you couldn't grow fruit. I think God made the earth originally for us to be able to feed ourselves off the land and survive naturally and thrive in nature. And I think it's humans that have affected the weather to basically stop and block us from being able to survive without the evil ones. G Jade, thank you so much for the roses. Wow. Much. Where you are explaining the paradox of all, it's a visual, intuitive, amazing. Jojo, you understand what you're saying? Thank you so much. Jojo, I think it's both on a full moon. I've been out creating and felt mischief and malevolence as well. Yeah, because the full moon, people talk about lunatics, people going crazy on the full moon, because the full moon's portal is so highly charged that the spiritual knights are using its energy to cast their black magic out. Because the feminine energy amplifies things by 9, so they use the moon's energy to amplify their spells by 9 as they cast it out. If the evil ones weren't on this plane, barely anything evil would be happening. It's because those people are actively trying to bring the demons and the devils and the evil in, that's why evil's manifesting on this plane. OG Dan, thank you. Light bulb, smart and the rose. You guys are too kind. Chi Jade sent a hand heart. Abstract mind, you're lovely. Thank you so much, everyone. So Jojo, what about aliens? Do they ascend? Yeah, so I believe their souls ascend. I don't think that aliens are, I think they're interdimensional beings, and I actually think that they are vessels that your soul can incarnate into as well. So I don't believe anyone was created God as an alien. I think God created our souls as lights in the heavens, and then you can choose to come, do I want to incarnate as a Pleiadian? Do I want to be a grey? Do I want to be a human? What do I want to be? And then your soul can come down and choose which light they want to live in. And some of these interdimensional beings live a lot longer than humans do, and so it might seem like these star seeds are what they are, but actually I believe that they are just, again, an incarnation that you can choose to have. And I think then your soul can ascend out of them and to ascend to higher planes and exist on higher dimensions in different bodies, and then even become just pure light at the top. Whether they can ascend in their actual vessels, it depends on whether they had the capacity to descend in the first place, because like I said, our natural God created way is actually being an enlightened master and being ascended. So space, I believe that I don't believe in the space that they say, like NASA says. So I believe in the flat earth, and there's a dome, and so I believe that all the lights in the skies, all the stars, they are portals to the other dimensions. And outside our dome there might be an even bigger dome with more land, and like there's an ice wall, and we might be in like a little prison dome, and then outside of that is the real earth, where other beings, other creatures, like other people live. And you don't know, there might even be people stood outside our dome protesting, let them out, free the slaves, like this. You know how we do when there's like animals being tested in labs, and you stand outside and protest, free the beagles, free the dogs, we shouldn't test on them. Well, there could be beings outside of our dome trying to get us out. But space that NASA says, I don't believe you can fly up there in a rocket. I believe it's like almost in waters, almost like a cell within like the blood or something, where so like it's a small cell and it's surrounded by waters. And so I just think that these frequencies, these different dimensions, are just different frequencies, and they're different planes. It's kind of just a simulation more than it is all on this one plane. I've not seen Michael's research on the Nephilim, but I have heard a lot about the Nephilim. I've not heard his particular perspective though. Hi, Mrs. Jones. Why is the weather hindered by people who are evil? Because the people that are evil feed off our energy and life force, and they don't want us to realise that God exists and that we are souls who can go back to heaven, because if we all awaken spiritually and we realise our divinity, then we'll leave this place after and they won't be able to feed off our energy anymore. There'll be no one here to feed off. So the evil ones, they're actually like demons incarnated into human form, or some people call them reptilians. Like, they're just kind of evil souls. They've got no light within them, and so they trap us here and they control our food supply and they control our education system, and they put fluoride and poisons in our waters, all to make us dumb and stupid. Because what happens is, when they control our food supply, one, we live in a bit of fear, in a bit of dependency. They can stop it at any minute. They could starve us off. They can control the population. But also, when they control the food supply, they can then put whatever they want in the food, and they drug the food and the water with chemicals. They're literally like drugs. And what happens is it goes into your system, and the drugs put you out of balance chemically, and so then it actually like kind of, some of the drugs in junk food actually acts like opioids and stuff. So they'll numb you to your senses, they'll like numb your mind, they'll make you a bit stupid. It's like when you've had a drink of alcohol and you act different and you change because it changes your internal chemistry. It's the same with all the food and the water. And so then when you're a bit dumb and stupid and unaware, it doesn't just turn off your like intelligence around you, but it turns off your spiritual connection as well. It because it ruins like your hormones, which is basically your endocrine system. It puts you out of balance. Your endocrine system, your 7 main glands are actually connected to your 7 main chakras, and then because the glands aren't working properly because of all the chemicals and shit, it then dims the light in your chakras, and then your aura's weak, and then they can put more spells on you and black magic on you, and then energetically you're not protected either, and then you just end up being like depressed, hate your life, too stressed to even take time to try and clean up your diet and clean up your vessel and get healthy, so that you can get your spiritual senses back, so that you can remember who you are and find God again and find a light again and go home. They don't want you doing any of that, so they'll live you in that life so that you just stay here forever, and they can just feed off your energy forever. Ingrid said, do I believe that the ocean is a portal? Yeah, because I've even, people say that hell is meant to be like fire, but I've actually heard that hell is more like waters and the ocean. The vagus nerve, I've heard loads about it as well, and I believe that that is part of the science of enlightenment. I think that when your Christ oil comes back up, it gets crucified on the vagus nerve. This is what I'm saying. It's like I've learned it on the energetic way, so I could describe to you perfectly how it works energetically. But the scientific way, I'll leave it to people who know how to explain that better. Yeah, alcohol is terrible. I gave up alcohol probably about 5 years ago now, and it's the best thing that I've done, to be honest. Chemtrails, yeah, they're a load of shit. It's real, and you can get cloudbusters and stuff. You can try and say spells to get rid of them, and people are burning distilled vinegar or white wine vinegar outside, and it's kind of clearing the skies a bit, or people are getting certain wands that you can use, cloudbusters I think they're called, to try and get rid of the chemtrails. But everyone doing stuff like that is going to get exactly what they serve. the sun and it being blocked, I think it's possible that we do have a sun simulator. But I've still been out and it still feels good. Even if it's not real, it fills me with light. It makes me feel good. I've connected to it. It's cleansed my energy. It's still, my flowers are growing because of it. So it might be a simulator, but we're in a simulation, aren't we? I do think as well, though, that they've been trying to block it out with the chemtrails and with the clouds, just purely to try and block the giver of life and light on this plane, because that's what the sun is. Jen's making a cloudbuster for your garden. Amazing. Strathon, you will never defeat us. I'm guessing you're talking to the night. There's no way. Do you know, Stephen, I'm glad you said that. Stephen said there used to be an ocean-born planet called Lucifer. This is interesting because I was doing a podcast on The Little Mermaid, the story of The Little Mermaid, and I've been guided that The Little Mermaid story is it's a story that's come from the goddess Venus and also the archangel Ariel. So just to go, the archangel Ariel, the Little Mermaid, she's called Ariel, isn't she? I believe that the archangel Ariel and Venus, they have some kind of a relationship. They might be the same soul, but Venus is actually the higher aspect of Lucifer. So Lucifer is the ego of Venus. Lucifer is like the alter ego, the dark side or the shadow side of Venus. And in the story of Little Mermaid and in the story of Venus, Aphrodite is born of a pearl in the ocean or something. So she comes to life from sea foam. She just springs into a goddess created from the ocean. And I'd also be interested to see if there's any links to Neptune with that, because obviously Neptune is the god of the ocean. I'd be interested to find out if there's any relations between Neptune and Venus in that sense or in the mythologies. Someone said it's great to attempt the Christ oil on your birthday. The Christ oil on your birthday, it's possible. It depends on your alignments. If obviously whenever it's your birthday or the planets have moved where the sun's in your star sign, so it's possible that that's a planetary alignment that can ascend your kundalini. There's loads of other days that can be used, like the summer solstice, the winter solstice. You can do spells to ascend your kundalini. So as long as your body is ready, so as long as you have abstained from orgasm, you're vegan, you've been clean, which means like washing your food before you eat it, like making sure you've got clean nails before you're eating food, and not touching your mouth and not letting animals lick you and stuff. If you're not clean, you can get parasites or you can get contaminated with animal products, and all of these things, they disrupt your internal chemistry. So you stay clean, you eat vegan, and you abstain from orgasm. And especially if you eat raw, or if you're doing things to fill you with light, then you'll have enough light so your body's ready. So when you do a spell or take a certain substance or wait for a planetary alignment that will ascend your kundalini, as long as your body's ready for it, when your kundalini ascends, you'll become enlightened. If your body's not ready and your kundalini ascends, the enlightenment doesn't stay. So your body needs to be ready, and so when the kundalini ascends, you just like suddenly become enlightened, and you stay enlightened until you eat an animal product or until you orgasm too many times, because those things will set you out of balance again. Just gonna hi Bacon with Becky. So Deanie, the world full of bad people pushing bad food, keep safe 1000%. Someone said, Gabby, can you send lots of love to our beautiful animals in our sanctuary? 1,000%. Send you all so much love and light. And do you guys share videos on your TikTok? Because I'll definitely support and follow. Thanks so much for looking after them and having a sanctuary. You're just so special and you're doing God's work, so we really appreciate you. Yay, OG Dan, I'm glad that you've had a mind-blowing experience. Is singing happy birthday and blowing out a candle on your cake a dark magic ritual? Yeah, it is. It's not necessary. Well, yeah, it's just kind of an aging ritual, really. So, the song is like a aging ritual, but if you didn't sing the song and you just lit a candle and you made your wish and you blew it out, then it's not a black magic spell. It's whatever your wish was, so it depends really on what your intentions were when you casted your wish. Truth hurts. Hi Michelle, makes sense, thanks. Ingrid, oh yeah, sorry, it looks like I am reading old comments. Charlotte, do you think humans were designed to eat meat? No. I think that we're the best diet for us is fruitarian. I think we can eat meat. Of course, most of us have eaten meat like for most of our lives, so we can, but I don't think that's what we're meant to, and I don't think that's how we were designed. I think our optimum would be fruitarian, just eating fruit. So these teeth, they're not canines. They're not canines one bit. If you look at canines, like a lion's teeth, the teeth are probably like 2 inches longer than the rest of the teeth. These, if you look at like monkeys' teeth, they're just for crushing like nuts, opening up nuts and things like that, and to rip into fruit. If you look at an actual lion's teeth, they're there to be able to tear flesh. So these teeth, they're not for flesh tearing, and you can tell really what our natural instincts are, because if you had a baby in a cot and you gave it an apple and you gave it a little bunny to play with, you let me know when the baby decides to kill and eat the bunny and play with the apple. Yeah, so you can tell straight away we have this instinct within us. Whenever people tell children really what they're eating, I've seen videos of them crying their eyes out that we would harm animals in that way. So one, I know from spiritual experience that if you want to become enlightened, you have to be vegan. So I'm not telling you to be vegan because I've got some kind of incentive to just try and like make you vegan for no other reason. If the only way that you could become enlightened was to just eating meat, I would tell you that, because for me, your soul and your soul's progress is more important than anything else. Even more important than my attachment to animals and my thinking that they deserve to live their lives. So I tell you about veganism only because it's to help your soul, and then other than that, so many other reasons. Like animals, they've got souls, they want to live their lives. For us, it's one meal. For them, it's their whole life done for 15 minutes of eating them when you could just eat something else. So there's just 1,001 reasons to be vegan. And when someone goes vegan, once you go vegan and you actually fully do it and you commit to it, nothing would ever change you back. So anyone that's gone vegan and they go, oh, I was vegan for 5 years and I got unwell and I'm now eating meat again, they're lying, or they weren't doing it properly, or they weren't ever truly vegan, because no one who actually truly goes vegan would ever change. They just wouldn't. There's nothing that could be done or said, because we thrive and we're healthy and we're not harming animals and we feel good and we're consciously aware and awakened and feels like, why would we ever give that up and change that? There's nothing that would make you not go vegan after it. So when did we start eating meat? We started eating meat probably from our descension, from our fall from grace. And some people say as well that some people say, you know, the cavemen used to eat meat. We came from ancestors that ate meat. I don't think so. I think that the Tartarians were probably fruitarians or vegans. I know Jesus was a vegan. I know Mary Magdalene was a vegan, raw vegans. I know that the Lemurians or the Lemurians used to be fruitarians. They actually were more light beings and they didn't even really consume much food. They were consuming more light. The Atlanteans probably were vegetarian at least. So you tell me like where we've ascended from, like caveman ancestors. No, we're at our most descended state right now. Like humanity of the past is so different to what they say it is. So we can't look to the past and go, oh, they survived on meat in caves. Maybe after a great flood or the mud flood, there was no food and they had to eat each other in order to survive. Maybe that's how humanity ended up coming back round after they killed off all the good ones. Maybe that's what happened. So I'm not saying that it's never happened, but that's not like to look back on them and go, hey, we need to. And even people say, oh, people in tribes, they eat meat. No, not a lot of them do. I've got a friend whose mum was born and raised in like a remote village in Africa and they were all vegetarian or vegan. They didn't eat meat. They knew the spiritual purposes for not eating meat. So in places like China and Asia, they mostly eat rice and vegetables. Like a lot of the places in the world, they don't actually eat that much meat, but we have this spell, we have this fake belief. We like to like hide behind all of these things so that we don't have to change our life, because eating the way that we do, food is such a comfort for people. So people don't really want to have to change the one thing that gives them comfort, which is just the diet they're used to. So they'd rather point the finger and say, oh, vegans kill loads of animals in crop deaths, so why should I stop eating meat, or vegans are militant, or all these reasons, but they've never tried it. So it's easier to just find your excuse, pick an excuse and stand behind it than to try and change your life and just experiment and see. Because I would say try it. Even if you like, just try it and have the thought, hey, I might even go back to eating meat. Just you don't need to limit yourself and say, I'll never eat it for the rest of my life. Just give yourself like a little deadline. Say, hey, I'm actually going to try veggie or vegan for like 4 months or a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, whatever it is. I'm going to try it. I'm going to experience it so I can actually see. And then I can compare the two and see which one I want to do. And that's what most people did. And it is a gradual process. And I would also say give it time, because when your body's so used to eating one way, at first it will feel weird. It will feel like not right, because your body needs time to adjust to the new way. But since this happened to me when I went raw, I was a junk food vegan. All I ate was beige food, like pizzas, fake chicken nuggets, fake sausage rolls, breads, pasta, all just brown food, never vegetables or fruit. And then when I met my spiritual teacher, he was like, hey, if you want to become enlightened, you need to build your chi, your life force energy, and the food you're eating is death. It's got no life in it. Even if it's vegan, if it's cooked food and it's brown and it's not got fruit and vegetables in, it's processed shit, it's got refined carbs in, it's basically junk food, and it's not got the light in that you need to fill yourself with enough light to ascend in consciousness and become a Christ. So he said you're going to have to go raw, which is raw foods full of life force energy. So he said if you want to get enlightened quick and experience enlightenment, to just see what you think of it. And then if you want to go back to your normal life after, do it. But at least experience it. This is what I'll tell you is, you don't know anything until you've actually first-hand experienced it. So he said, you're going to have to go raw, no more fake sausage rolls, no more pizzas, no more pasta and bread. You're going to have to go raw for 4 months and just try it. And he was like, it's 4 months of your life. 4 months and you can just go back to your old ways. But give it that amount of time, because it takes like 1 month for your taste buds to adjust, 2 months for your intestines to start healing, 3 months for the parasites and all the eggs to die off, 4 months to like... Give it 4 months. And he said every time he does raw for 4 months, he has a massive spiritual awakening. And I wanted that. So I had to build my way up. I tried it for a week. My first meal I ate, I threw it up. I just cut up a load of vegetables and I put some like soya sauce on it, and I had it, and I was fully sick. I threw the whole thing up. It was like, I was like shaking. I was like, can't do it. I didn't think I could do it, and then like I just was like, I'm gonna try again, and I kept trying again, and eventually I got to 4 months, and wow, then I didn't want to go back to my old life. Then I wanted to carry on because I felt so good, and people would compliment me and they'd say, you look so radiant, there's something about you, you get a raw glow when you fill with light. So so then your life changes. And so I would always just say, just try something. At least if you can do 4 months, try something for 4 months and then go back to your old ways. And it feels good to have that going back to your old ways as a backup, because it doesn't feel like you're having to really give up and let go of anything. That can be quite a difficult, daunting task, but if you just see it as like a small change and then just go back, it's a lot easier. Geocentric, thanks so much for the roses. I'm just reading some of the comments. Do I filter my water? I distill it. So don't drink tap water. And also, if you're going to buy food that's pre-made at the supermarket, like soups and stuff, make sure it's got filtered or distilled water. Make sure it doesn't just say water, because it could be tap water. About like 6 months ago, I went back to go and visit my parents, and I found these really nice looking soups in Waitrose. They weren't raw, but they were fully whole foods, so they just literally had vegetables in. There was no ingredients that was like chemicals or processed. Water, carrots, herbs, spices. It just looked good, so I was like, yeah, I'll just get this soup. As I was out and about, and as I had it afterwards, I got this like confusion, fog on my mind, like a brain fog, and I was getting attacked by bad energy, and I was like, what is this fog coming from? And it was basically the water in the soup. Would have never thought. It was quite an expensive soup. It looked whole foods, it looked like it was good, it was filled with good stuff, and yet the water just said water. Do you know what they're putting in tap water? So be aware of stuff like that. Baking with Becky, I think I saw a comment from you earlier saying, apologise for the name. I like your videos, thank you. I'm glad you enjoy them. Les said, frozen food, what are your thoughts? I don't eat frozen food much, but I do sometimes have like frozen berries that I'll just blend up into a smoothie, or maybe some frozen edamame beans that I'll put in my salads and stuff. But I don't have it often. I do think that frozen food, it has some light in it, but when you freeze it, it can kill the light the same way that cooking can. So if you can get it fresh, it's much better. Wonderful to see you. Thank you. Yeah, I definitely recommend distilled water. The water distillers, it's the first thing I really invested in when I went when I started on my spiritual awakening, because the water distillers, they can be like up to £300. You can get them like keep on checking online and see when they've got a reduction on and stuff, but they're 1000% worth getting, 1000%, because when I felt the difference, I've been on distilled water for so long that when I had that soup and I felt the difference of having non-distilled water again, and I felt the spell straight away and the confusion and the mind fog, I was like, shit, like just one small cup of the water can take you back and put this like fog on you and make you not sharp and make you not aware. And what happens when you're not aware? Bad spells can get put on you, and then bad things happen in your life, and before you know it, like negative energy can start trying to drag you down. So you just need to be sharp and with it and focused, and so you need to be having as much clean foods in your vessel as possible. Are veggies as good as fruit? Fruit, I think, is the best. I think fruit's the best, then veggies. And especially root vegetables aren't as good either. There's like different tiers of like the high vibration and the lower vibrations. And if something is, if you're eating the root of the plant, you're killing the plant and eating the plant. And it's not as bad as killing and eating an animal, but it is a lower density than eating fruit, because with fruit, the tree grows the fruit, and you pick the fruit when it's ripe and you will eat the fruit, and the seeds will be inside you, and then maybe you'll go and poo the seeds somewhere and you grow new trees, and that original tree stays alive, and everyone gets to live and thrive, and no one dies because the fruit is there. The tree grows the fruit as a gift, whereas if you kill a plant, as in you just tear the whole plant out and eat the whole plant, we have then taken the life. And it's not as bad as killing or eating an animal, because eating plants won't unenlighten you. Eating animals will unenlighten you because they're too low. They pull your consciousness too far down. But eating plants, even root vegetables, they pull you down a tiny bit, but nothing like where it would actually unenlighten you and descend you. So you can eat, if you want to eat really high vibe, you want to eat fruits, then there's vegetables under that. Leaves as well. Leaves will be in the fruit with the fruit, because the plant doesn't die as long as it's not killed the whole plant. But then it goes down to root vegetables, then probably like perhaps mushrooms, because mushrooms are kind of there's meant to be an in-between between animals and plants, and then it goes down to animals, which is just a no. You draw the line at animals, including their products like eggs and milk and stuff. Someone said, are Brita filters safe for filtering water? They're okay, but they don't get rid of everything, and the distillers are the ones that you're going to want. Drinking alkaline water from a machine that converts tap water, how does it convert it? Because what the distiller does is it literally boils the water and it evaporates the water, and then the evaporated steam drips out into a mug, which basically then leaves everything that's toxic and everything, and all the shit gets left behind. If it alkalines the water, does it just hold the same water and just change its charge, in which case that same water will still have all the crap in it? It needs to almost be condensed out in order to remove the crap, but I just don't know how that machine works. What are my thoughts on meditation? Do I do daily meditations? It's really varied. Sometimes I need it. Sometimes I'll have to like put a routine in, and every morning I have to do at least half an hour, sometimes even an hour. But they're the times when I'm actually going through things, like I'm needing guidance, or I'm just not sure, or things are just feeling a bit uneasy and I just need to plug back in and like just feel grounded again. So sometimes I'll be like that. And then other times, like now, I've not meditated for probably about 3 or 4 weeks, and I've not needed to either. So I found that at first I needed to do it regularly so that I could still my conscious mind in just everyday life, because I couldn't just sit without 1,001 things going on in my mind. But the more I meditated, the more I was able to clear my mind. So now when I sit here, it's actually quiet, whereas it used to be too much going on. I had no silence. And so it's the meditation that's been able to find this quiet in normal moments, which has been so valuable. I would recommend it to everyone. And now that I've got the quiet, I don't need to do it anymore. It's just there now. But if I was really trying to get some guidance, I would go back in just to try and like connect and receive that. Thank you for the rose, Rosa, John. Some people say that distilling the water does get rid, it gets rid of everything in the water. Even like some people say it even gets rid of like minerals and stuff. But I've never had an issue with it because I'm eating so many minerals in my diet anyway. John, thanks so much for the roses. Thank you so much. So, pesticides on fruit. Some people do wash their fruit. That sounds good, vinegar and baking soda. I don't wash my fruit with pesticide, with anything in particular, but I will wash all of my fruit just with water, and I just give it a good enough rinse. So there's probably more you can do to make sure that you get rid of any kind of pesticides on it and stuff. But I do find that because I'm eating raw food, that's all I eat, the fruit in it has got enough like antioxidants and everything else. It's got enough healing within it that it counteracts any pesticide issues that I would have. If I was eating junk food diet and I was eating fruit and veg, I'd be concerned more about pesticides and things like that. Thanks, John, I appreciate that. Oh, you said no thanks. Sorry. So then, sacred geometry and how to use it. This is going to be my last question. So I want to just say thanks to everyone for chilling with me, because it's been really, really fun. So sacred geometry, I'll just show you this as an example. I call it holy geometry, and there's loads and loads of different shapes that you'll see. So this is called a triskelion. There's this one here actually that is the flower of life. And basically the different holy geometry, this one's called a Sri Yantra. The different shapes disperse and channel energy in different ways. So this one is an example. It's got loads of different triangles and diamonds in it. The triangles point both up and down. So what it does is, however many triangles are in there, I think there's about 9, it basically takes the energy, and if it goes up and down, it kind of like pushes it out, so it expands it in all directions, up and down like that. So where the energy is pointing, the triangles are pointing, it's pushing the energy that way. So the triangle is going both ways. It's like taking the energy from the center and expanding it like that. So if you hold a Sri Yantra on your palm chakra, which is one of your light ports, you've got a portal of light there, or your chakra, the energy is now being pushed and amplified by the power of 9, or however many triangles are in there. So it amplifies the light that you receive. So you could put a crystal in there, and then the crystal charge is amplified by 9, and it's coming into your vessel. So the Sri Yantra just like charges energy. All of the holy geometry just basically powers and charges energy in different ways. So this triskelion, the lines basically spiral the energy, and if a spiral goes clockwise, it amplifies the energy into a masculine kind of strong, forceful point. And then if it goes anti-clockwise, it expands the energy and disperses it outwards. So these spirals will be kind of spiraling and charging and channeling the energy, either masculine or feminine. And masculine and feminine energies do different things, so you can utilize them in different ways, or even for your own internal balance. So all the different geometries and shapes, they all do slightly different things, but they can all be used for your magic. So if you have this and you don't even know what it does, all you need to do is just get a crystal and put it on top, and then it'll be charging the space. Or if you have it in like a little print one out on a piece of paper, and like just hold it onto your hand, and then when you touch one of the stones at a megalith or something, the energy will be coming through the shape will be working its magic, and it'll be coming through into you, and you'll be getting the light that shape has created. So you can just use these shapes, even if you don't know what it's doing, just experiment with it and try it and feel it, and then you will know what it's doing, because you'll feel it or sense it, or maybe you won't, but eventually you will, because the more you do stuff like this, the more you fill yourself with light, the more you get rid of spiritual blocks, and the more you illuminate your nervous system and your psychic gifts, the more you'll be sensitive and aware and be able to sense and see and feel these things yourself. And with that, Mockingbird, thank you so much for the rose. Everyone, I've really enjoyed spending time with you today. And so thanks so much for staying with me. I really appreciate it. Send you all so much love, and I'll definitely come on again. Yeah, have an awesome evening and an